Here we go. All right. Oh my goodness. I am so excited to have you here. Welcome to the Anatomy of a Successful Dream College Application. I am your host, Dr. Cynthia Colon, and I couldn't be more excited to have you than I am right now. So thank you for honoring me with some time of yours. Time is precious, so I will get right to it. Okay, so today I'm going to show you how your highly motivated team can go from feeling confused to finding focus and clarity and stay miles ahead of their peers so you can stop worrying about what they need to do and how to get it done. I know that sounds pretty exciting for many, and actually most of you. Parents, I'm going to just say I want you to stay to the end because I have a special parent bonus for you, and that's my mama, and she's super excited that I'm offering this to you, and she helped me create this bonus just for parents. So your role here today is to silence your phone, be in this moment, just give yourself these 60 minutes because you have made a decision that your teen's future is important. It's important to your family. It's important to you. So you have your pen and paper. You want to write down your questions so you have them ready for later. And I always say, grab your beverage of choice. I always have my water and green tea right near me. So here we go. So this might sound like you. You are a parent of a high achieving teen who will apply to college in the next 4 years. You are your college-bound teen, your high achieving teen is involved in several organizations and has at least one top tier dream college on their list, okay? Or if that's you, teenagers, that's you, right? You're super involved. You might also be in what I would put myself in this category. You applied to college, well, at least 20 years ago, if not more, and you're looking for all the help you can get with your child to help your child achieve their dreams. Yes, that is me when I was in high school. Oh my goodness, big hair. So I want you to just type in the chat sort of, which are you? Are you a 1, a 2, a 3, or all of the above? Okay. And Ronnie might get to me and let me know. All right. So you can go ahead and add those and see sort of what's popping up most. I'm going to guess that many of you are all of the above. That we'll see. Okay. Whatever you are, I am with you 1000%. So bravo to you for being here today. And thank you. This is a bit about me. This is my mom over here in the I'm a Pepper shirt. So I love Texas because I can get my Dr. Pepper. My mother used the words when you go to college. Even though she or my father never went to college, she used the words when and never said the word if. So I'm guessing that you're here today, parents, because you too use the word when in your household. This is my best friend, Kristen, and I was lucky enough, while most of the students at my high school, my public high school, went, if they did go to college, they were going to either community college or the local state college. I was lucky enough to surround myself with friends who were dreaming a little bit bigger. For me, my dream was USC, and at the time, that was a big deal for me. Now, it's not, it wasn't as competitive as it is now, but I had friends who applied to places like Notre Dame and UCLA and USC, and our valedictorian went to Harvard. So somehow it got in my head that I could dream a little bit bigger than most of my peers in my high school. That gentleman with the beard is Mr. Vargas. My mother met him several years before I applied, and she held onto his business card because he said, when your daughter is ready to apply, be sure to call me. And since she didn't know how to help me, she called him and followed up, and she drove us up the 110 freeway in her brown Oldsmobile, and we went to see Mr. Vargas, and he was really my guide. From USC, I went on to pursue a master's degree at Columbia University, a teacher's college, and I had an internship at Barnard College, and then I got my first job at Vassar College. Now I list all of these schools here, not to sort of, say, look at what I did, but I'm mostly to say I didn't know the names of any of these colleges before I went to USC. So it was at USC that other people around me talked about getting a master's degree and going back east to do other things. And I started to do my own research, and I never heard the term elite college until I was in New York. Now, this is a photo of Vassar College main building, and this is what my view was outside my window when I was living on campus. Now, while I was at Vassar recruiting in the admission office, I was in charge of Florida, Texas, North and South Dakota, Kansas, all of California, and Minnesota. So my job was to recruit and travel to those states, and also be the voice for committee, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I also very clearly got the real picture of just how many families do not know much about this process and how competitive it is. So from there, I went to Marymount, and Marymount is an all-girls private high school in Los Angeles. There is where I learned what real elite college counseling and expert college guidance really looks like. And because I was a college counselor there, I was often invited by colleges that did fly-ins. They would fly a group of counselors over to their group of schools. And so I was in Atlanta, Georgia for the Peachtree Tour. I was in Boston for the Beans Tour. I was in Wisconsin for the Cows Tour. So I've visited hundreds of colleges over my time as a counselor. When I was young, my mom used to say this phrase, "Dime con quién andas y te digo quién eres." Loosely translated, just tell me who you're hanging out with, who your group of friends are, and that will tell me and reveal who you are. Later as an adult, I came across this quote, "We are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with." So if you leave with nothing else today, I want you to hear me when I say your dream college, whatever that is for you, is worth pursuing because it defines not who you are, but who you aspire to become. So if I'm the sum or the average of those people who I spend the most time with, for 4 years, the ideas that you'll share and the experiences that you'll have with those who are around you will define who you become. Today's lesson plan is pretty simple. We're going to talk about the role of your high school. I'll give you some tips on behind the scenes on the admission process, and then we'll get to really what you came for, which is really all about the real dream college applicants. Sound good? Okay, are you ready? I believe you are ready. First thing you should know is 90% of the college application happens before senior year. Before senior year, Dr. C, what are you talking about? Yep, you heard me correctly. You will graduate with a total of 8 semesters of grades, but you will apply to college with only 6 semesters of GPA. So I need you to understand there's really no time to waste, so the grades and the rigor of your curriculum will count the most. At the end of the junior year, your GPA that you have at that point will be what you apply to college with. Your AQs, your academic qualities, include your grades, your test scores, and the number of honors AP or IB courses you have completed or will complete in your senior year. So senior does count, but not in GPA. The school profile, you should know, this is the second thing that you should know. The school profile is a document that's sent to colleges attached with your transcript. This is something you should become familiar with. It provides the school context. So what this is it gives me the grade distribution. It gives me the average test scores, APs, SATs, ACTs. It tells me where students from your high school have applied or have been admitted to and have gone off to college. So it gives me a sense of the context in which to look at your application. It tells me how many honors and AP courses and or IB courses are offered at your school. The letters of recommendation is the final piece that comes from your school. There's the counselor and the teacher recommendations. You will need both. The counselor recommendation is there to paint a more full picture of who you are personally. The teacher recommendation is there specifically to talk about your academic, what kind of student are you academically. At the end of the day, you are added academic institution now, and you are applying to an academic institution as we move forward. So that's what they're looking for. I want to tell you, teachers are very honest, more honest than you might think they are, but there's definitely a trick to getting the best recommendation from them. Let's talk about top tier college admissions, and I want you to know, obviously this comes from my own perspective and my own personal experience having been on that side. I want you to understand that if I took nothing else away from being an admission officer, what I learned at rookie camp and what I continue to learn from my mentors in the admissions offices from other Ivy League and sister schools, they would say this: you want to ask this question. When you're reading the file, you want to ask, given the resources that this student had, what did they spend? How did they spend their time? What did they accomplish? So ask yourself, given my resources, how do I spend my time in the classroom and out of the classroom? Okay. So before we met for committee meaning decision committee, I would spend no more than about 15 minutes to review your application. I would take individual notes, AQs and PQs. I would recalculate your GPA in the way that we did it at Vassar, and our director had come from Yale, so they did it a similar way as well. I would review all school documents, your essays, and your letters of recommendation. The leadership piece, I'd look at your involvement, your resume, and I'd also really be looking for what kind of impact leadership do you have? Are you involved, appropriately involved, and are you leaving an impact in your school community, in your greater neighborhood community? Where are you leaving an impact? There's definitely a difference, and you'll see that today. Committee is formed of, in early decision committee, we were all together. So I think there was 7 of us or 8 of us, we all got a vote. But in regular committee, because there's so many applications, we would split off and there would be 3 of us at a time. So once it was time, let's say for Minnesota, and Minnesota came up, and so I would then get all of the Minnesota applicants together, put them in alpha order by school group, and then one by one, we'd go over Blake, I hope I get this right. I think it's the Blake School was an example, right? Or from El Paso, Isleta High School, or from Miami, Miami-Dade High School, or Tampa, or any number, Menlo Atherton from California. So we'd put them in alpha order by school group, and one by one, 60 seconds or less, I'd give an overview to the committee of your application, the application in front of me. And I'd say, here from Brooklyn Tech, we have da-da-da, and here are the AQs and PQs. The questions would come from committee members. If they had any questions after my overview, they'd ask questions. We'd give some pause, and then we'd take a committee vote. And each person had, imagine an index card. They'd have a red, a yellow, or a green, and each person would hold up their card they were voting for. And so 2 votes out of 3 ruled the day. So red would mean deny, yellow would mean waitlist, and green would mean admit. Yep, it was just that easy and simple. I shouldn't say easy, it was definitely not easy. So the good news, bad news, I guess, is this. All top applicants have similar AQs. Your job is to make your PQs stand out. Okay. All right, so super excited. This is the sort of drum roll, please. This is what we've all been waiting for. I want you to really see what a real top application looks like and has been successful. Now, I will tell you that not each of these were successful in every single college they applied to. So let's take a look. Here we're going to begin with Jensen. So take a look at Jensen and just take a look. AQs and PQs. Now I start with Jensen, and I see why I start with him is because he has both AQs and PQs. I mean, he is oozing with so much there. It's hard not to like Jensen. You see his high grades and test scores, and then his leadership. He's the newspaper editor, sports editor, feature editor, so he's had growth on the newspaper, and he's one of 28 selected scholars at his high school. It's pretty great what he's got going on here. Hard to beat Jensen. This is the group of essays that he decided to settle on. He wrote one about being the sports editor and having a deadline, and he used this great sports metaphor, and he used a couple other pieces, life lessons learned from a class, a teacher, and a research assignment that he had, and used a sports commercial. He was admitted to these colleges here: Georgetown, Notre Dame, Northwestern, UCLA, and Berkeley. And Jensen was ultimately awarded a total of $248,000 in merit scholarships, okay? These are not all the schools that he was admitted to, but this is a sampling of where he was admitted. My tip for you from Jensen is this: clarity comes from stillness. A clear and authentic essay always wins over common topics. Now, very briefly, I will tell you that when Jensen first came to me, he'd come from another essay camp and brought me his one and only draft after 15 hours in this other essay camp, and he had drafted about community service. You can guess what I said about that. Thousands of essays are written about community service, so if it doesn't matter to you, it will not matter to your reader. What's cool to you may not be cool to me, but that's what makes you super cool. So if anyone looked quickly at Jensen's profile, you would know that community service was not his coolness factor. So sometimes it takes an adult to help a teen find clarity on what seems obvious to everyone else. Here's Jillian. Take a look at Jillian really quickly. She wants to be pre-law and agriculture. Now here we see Jillian, and she is strong academically for sure. She has a 3.9, which means she has like 1 A- ever, and her senior year curriculum is very strong. But looking at her quickly, the leadership that she has isn't so obvious. Like she is active at her high school. She's done some summer things. She did a research project, and she has a consistent part-time job during school and actually in the summer. And she comes from a fairly well-to-do family, so working is a nice little added thing that she has. But nothing is screaming out like, yes, this is what she does leadership-wise. Jillian rested on these 4 topics to display a complete picture of who she is. Okay, and given what she wanted to major in, this set of essays makes sense. Now, if you're listening and you're not from California, you might be wondering, most of these applicants are from California, and they needed 4 essays for the UC system, and then developed more essays for the common application. Jillian was admitted to these colleges: University of Notre Dame, Washington University in St. Louis, Villanova, Boston University, Wake Forest, and several UCs. She was admitted to other schools as well, but that's a sampling, and her merit award total was $18,000. So there was one school that did give her some merit aid, but by and large, most did not. So she did win the lotto in my book. She really scored here for sure. My tip from Jillian is this: leadership doesn't always come in a title. Most students do not have the title of president, captain, editor-in-chief, state or national champion, but nearly every student demonstrates leadership in some way. But a lack of clarity on how to uncover that leadership will get any teenager feeling a little stuck in this process. Warren. Okay, Warren is enough to make everybody cry. Take a look at Warren. Not a single A- on his transcript. Really strong AQs. I mean, honestly. And on top of that, oh, by the way, Warren is also a state champion, a top 10 national finalist in volleyball, and he's a top leader on campus, and he had a summer internship, and oh yeah, he works part-time. All right, I know, right? This is the set of essays that Warren settled on. It was really important for someone like Warren to go out of his way to find a way to stand out and show personality, because where he was applying, everybody pretty much looks like that. So give you a little glimpse into Warren's essay. So if you want to, I love this. I'm the chief therapist in the radiation oncology department, Dad said, pushing a fork full of chicken rice into his mouth. Noting the blank look on my face, he explained, I treat people who have cancer. I was completely shocked my dad wasn't a nurse, but I was more intrigued to learn more about what he actually did. So this is a cute essay that shows a lot of personality and connection with Dad, the relationship they have, what a window of time looks like at home, which is really great. Warren was admitted to these colleges. And I'm going to tell you, because it breaks my heart to tell you, that he was not admitted to Stanford or Rice, but he was admitted to these schools: UCLA, USC, UCI, Santa Barbara, several UCs, Baylor, University of Miami, SMU, Emory, Georgia. And he was awarded $422,000 in merit aid. Yep. My tip from Warren is this. The college list is the key. If you have never heard a no in your life, which many of you on this call may be feeling like, plan for lots of yeses. So the truth is, Warren's mother found me, and she was smart to know that even though her son had a stellar record, that he really needed to find his voice. He needed to find a way to stand out among thousands of applications. So here you have, there are over 30,000 public and private high schools. Yep, you heard correctly. So that equals that many valedictorians and ASB presidents, fewer gold award winners, fewer state champions, and even fewer national champions. There are about 120, maybe 130 dream colleges that admit less than 35% of their pool, and you only need one of them to say yes. So my guess is you probably can only name about 20 or maybe 30. So I say keep fishing, and we really show you how to do that. You want to find the 50-50 and likely schools that you love and that you'll be super happy if that was your only choice as well. Here's Sandra. Sandra is a stellar student, academically clear, that's clear. And look at the senior year curriculum, wowza. But as we look pretty quickly, I don't see anything screaming out at me in terms of top high leadership, really. I love that the 13 years of ballet, pre-professional ballet, that looks pretty amazing. That's great. But on campus, I don't see a whole lot. She was the co-founder or the president of the Women in Business Club. Now, sometimes we think to ourselves, well, did they just start that club so they can add it to their resume? Maybe there's 20, 30 people in it, but maybe there's 2. So we don't know. Summer entrepreneurship and an intern, and she works the family business, which is pretty cool too. Sandra settled on these essays, this group of essays, and I'm going to give you a peek into her cheese essay. So I'm going to just jump to the second example here, where it says, so each goat cheese variety comes from the same origin, yet their distinct life stories create different characters and qualities. I thought about this, standing in the market with a father who lives in London, grandparents who live in France, cousins from Morocco, and an Ecuadorian American mother at home in the United States. Okay, so that's a great way to weave in your personal background and your personal history through a creative story there. Took a lot of drafts to even get there. Sandra was admitted to Boston College, Northeastern, USC, UCLA, Berkeley, UC San Diego, Loyola Chicago, ASU, and she earned a total of $496,000 in merit aid. Yep, you heard correctly. The tip is better to be sincere rather than sad, sappy, or scintillating. Most students really think they need a sad story to get admitted to college or to get the attention of an admission officer. But you saw the way Sandra found a way to be creative. It will help you stay away from common topics that don't work. So she had plenty to write about. She had the divorce. She comes from a multicultural family. She lives in a border town, goes to school with a number of lots of diversity on her campus. So Sandra's truth, though, her mom found me because she is a bit of a procrastinator, and the mom knew that she really needed someone to really give her that extra nudge, and the mom did not want to be the nag herself. Finally, we have David. Here's David. David looks fairly similar to Jensen, but doesn't have quite the sparkle of leadership that Jensen has. So you see he's strong with a 35 ACT, 4 APs in the senior year, like pretty good stuff, right? But when they came to me, the dad found me, and there was a lot sort of missing. There was a lot of gaps, and David had his dreams on one of the H, Y, P, or S. He was going to be applying early decision to one of those schools, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, or Stanford. I won't tell you which one, but suffice to say he was going for gold, basically. Here are the essays that he'd landed on, these 4 topics. So it took some really digging to figure out how this was going to all come together for David. I'll give you a little sample of his essay. It's about McDonald's, his job at McDonald's. And he takes a seemingly mundane topic, having a job at McDonald's, and turns it into something that is connected to his career goal, saying that that's where he learned what a profit and loss statement even looks like. So it's a really well done essay that weaves a lot of pieces in, and I really get to know David through this essay. David was admitted to Cornell, Georgetown, Northwestern, Boston College. He was not admitted to his first choice early decision school, which was one of those, H, Y, P, or S. My tip from David is this: high testing will never hurt your case if, and I mean if, you can make a case. So he really found a way to make a case for himself, and he really did what he needed to do. So here, just a side note for those of you who are watching from class of 22 to 24, I want you to be prepared for what's coming. Grades and the rigor of curriculum are going to rule the day. Any quantitative data will be important as we move forward. You may or may not know that testing, ACT and SAT, many colleges, and the big boom was UCs, that said they're really going to be doing away. So this will be a year that if you're class of 21, if you can get your testing in and it's really solid, it will be a year that is helpful because so many will choose not to submit testing. But moving forward, it will play less and less of a role. The truth is, David had to write over 20 essays for all the schools he applied to. We spent more than 30 hours one-on-one because he waited until fall of his senior year to really take action. We built a foundation of 4 essays that we teach, and he retooled and repurposed those 4 essays over and over again. His best match for business school was Cornell and Georgetown. He did exactly the activity I gave him and really made compelling arguments for those 2 schools. So my prediction early on in this process was that particularly was that I thought Cornell was the perfect match for him. And not that I'm always right by any stretch, but I happen to be right with this one. So this is from Sandra's mom. So I just wanted to point out this comes directly from one of the students that you just saw here. So just take a look at what she has to say. Okay, so I want you in the chat to tell me which one do you remember? Which of these applicants do you remember? 1 for Jensen, 2 for Jillian, 3 for Warren, 4 for Sandra, and 5 for David. And Miss Ronnie, if you go ahead and text me so I know what's coming up. Okay. And for those parents who are thinking, I don't even remember who was Jensen, who was Jillian. Now, welcome to being an admission officer, because I would read 25 applications to 30 per day. And really, honestly, I would remember 2 to 3 at the end of each day. So that's what it's like. Okay, so it looks like Sandra, Warner coming up, and some Jensen. Okay, excellent. That has been pretty much the same at every step of the way. This is our 4th time doing this, and you guys are right on it. I want you to know that each of these applicants lacked clarity and focus at some point, but had the confidence to ask for help. All of them were denied someplace, and all but one of them were denied multiple places, but they had a plan to earn their yes. And so I just want to remind you, you only have one chance to get this right. The common mistakes are underestimating the long game, focusing only on academic qualities and not the PQs, treating the essay like an English paper, assuming that a stellar record will prevail. And number 5, my favorite, believing that this is an even playing field. Believe me when I tell you that when I was at Vassar, I was shocked to go visit schools across the country that are brick buildings. These are high schools. This is nothing I imagine. And so students out there are getting lots of guidance and advice along the way. So asking for help means significantly increasing your chances of dream colleges, instantly boosting your confidence, and parents, yours too, generating more honors and awards, because you're just going to have a little more pep in your step when you get help. You're going to earn a coveted spot at a school that you love and that you're happy with, and that will change the trajectory of your life. And parents, by you giving and offering this help, it makes you the parent of the year. Now, hear me when I say good grades and a good resume will get nearly every teen into a good college, but your family has bigger dreams than that. That's why you're here. Now, understand that the average acceptance rate across the country is more than 60%. So you're gonna get into college if you so choose. If that's what you want, you're gonna get in. But you're here for a very specific reason. And a dream without a plan is just a wish. So I want to introduce you to some of my campers. This is class of 2020, students that we worked with over in 2019. They have to date earned more than $5.5 million in merit money. And believe me, this is just from the students I've heard from. Parents, you know how hard it is to get the attention of any teenager after they don't need you anymore. So from those I've heard from, that is the amount. So I know it's much more than that. Here is a sampling of some of the colleges that our campers will be attending. So while I've shown you these top dream college applicants, we work with students from a wide array of academic abilities, capabilities, and dream colleges. For some, I can think of the kid who's going to Penn State. Like, that was his dream college. He was ecstatic because that had always been his dream college for a very specific major that he wanted. Another one of my kids is ecstatic about the University of Utah because he got a scholarship to the business school. So your dream is your dream, and this is where some of them are attending. Here are some additional acceptances in addition to those I just showed you where they're attending. Here are some other additional acceptances. So again, they run a range of students. We worked with students from all across the country, from a variety of states. I want to say last year it was represented 9 or 10 different states that we worked with. And so you see the diversity of where students were also admitted. Again, that's just a sampling. So my big question now is, would you like me to teach you how to create, plan, and execute your own successful dream college application? So go ahead and type the number 1 if you are ready for me to show you just how you can do the same. Ronnie, how are we doing? What are we seeing? Yes, okay, excellent. All right, fantastic. Well, thank you for allowing me to share this with you. So parents, I want you to understand your teens are going to go through this process only once. So you have 2 options. Option number 1, you can do this the old school way and figure it out on your own. And I dare say my mom would, if she were here, she'd say, not even she did this on her own. She found someone and was resourceful. Option number 2, you and your team can commit to creating an academic, personal, and leadership plan using a proven roadmap. Now remember, I said I've been doing this for over 20 years. I want to personally invite you to Dream College Academy. Dream College Academy is the first course of its kind that offers comprehensive, expert college guidance in the areas of academics, leadership, and the personal qualities, allowing your team to find clarity and focus on developing a compelling dream college application. Your team will produce an analysis of their AQs and their PQs. They will develop an expanded list of colleges, not just the ones they know. They will develop a leadership game plan, really talking about impact leadership and coolness factor and weaving all of those pieces in. They'll develop solid ideas and drafted essays. They'll conduct scholarship research, and they will develop a teacher recommendation template using the template I have to really get the best recommendations from their teacher, and an individualized action plan. This is especially great for students who want a checklist, who need an action plan, whether you're 6 months away from applying or a few years away from applying. The good old action plan makes sure that it gets done. Here are the 7 modules you'll find in Dream College Academy. Module 1, we talk about academic goals. Where are you now? Where do you want to be? And then module 2, you'll act like the admission committee. You get to have the red, the yellow, or the green cards and really see what it's like to be in that role, so you understand how to manage your own gaps and what you want. Module number 3, you'll develop your leadership and coolness factor plan. 4 is one of my favorites, is developing a list of colleges, not just a top tier of colleges, but really, if there's such a thing as a safety dream school, I'm sure that's an oxymoron, we really help you figure that out. Module 5 is drafting your dream college and your scholarship essays and doing that scholarship research. Module 6 is developing and selecting your dream team. And module 7 is really the ultimate dreamer's action plan. All of this, if you were to go out and find someone to help you one-on-one, privately, that would be at least a total of $3,500. So, yep, that is the price of that. So here is the bonus I'm offering for you today. The bonus is a sample pack of real counselor and teacher letters of recommendation. I've never shared this before, but I've been accumulating several over the years, and so I've selected some to share with you. And parents, if this doesn't get your teen motivated, I don't know what will. Okay, I want you to understand these little pumpkin heads you see here, they are not superhuman. They are not Olympic athletes, and they are not curing cancer, although I think Warren will one day. They simply created a plan and found their story and used my formula to make themselves stand out among thousands. But if they can do it, I promise you can too. There's one more bonus, and that is a weekly live Q&A with me to guide your teen along the way for troubleshooting and for clarity, and also to just find that focus. So Dream College is really about dreaming, doing, leading, and achieving. Money back guarantee. If after the class starts for 14 days, class begins Tuesday, June 16th, and you'll get 2 modules over the course of 14 days. If you show the work, if your team puts in the work and still is feeling like, no, this is not for me, no worries, just reach out, show us the work, and we will refund your money. This is Ethan, by the way. He just took our pilot class. We piloted this class to make sure it had all the components students needed, and there were 50 of them, and this is what Ethan had to say. He is ready to take action. So once again, this is a total value of over $4,500. And so you want to know, what's the investment, Dr. C? What's the investment? The investment is your price. This is an introductory price of $459. Why? Because my parents didn't go to college. I had to figure it out, and Mr. Vargas helped me. And when I went to Vassar, all I could think about was so many more students and families need this information. So I want to make it accessible to as many families that want it and want see this as worth this small investment in your future. You can get started today at $459 for one payment or 2 payments of $230. So you can split it up if you so need to, and be happy to have you join. Now, I almost forgot. Mom would have reminded me. Okay, so the fast action bonus, if while we're still on this call today, and we're going to do Q&A in just a bit, so we'll be on as long as you have questions, but if you buy while we're still on, parents, this is for you. I created recently a Parent Academy, 10 steps, so that you too can know how you can guide and be helpful to your teen without being nagging or without being overbearing, and just by doing your thing. You do you, mom and dad, and let your teen do them. Okay, sound cool? So you get this fast bonus action if you buy today while we're still on the call. And on top of that, parents, I'm going to give you my 60 samples of essays that you can read for yourself and hold on for when your teen is ready to take a look. So once again, you can get started today for $459 for one payment or 2 payments of $230. We would love to have you join. I'm so excited to launch this. So I just want you to understand that Module 1 will be released on Tuesday, June 16th. One module will come out per week for 7 weeks. Now, there's a lifetime access. What that means is we recommend that you carve out 3 hours per day to get the module completed. I dare say you also include the extra hour for the Q&A session that will happen every Thursday with me, 5 p.m. Pacific time every Thursday. Okay, now there's lifetime access. So that means if you do it in 7 weeks, great. If you stay with us all the way, great. If it takes you 7 months to complete it, that's fine too. The point is you can go back to it again and again and again. Now, this cohort of students will begin June 16th, but doors to this will close soon. So I just want you to know this will be open, and after that, students, you cannot join the class once the class has begun, okay? Once again, here's the web address, and I just want to make sure you have it. I think Ronnie is probably popping it into the chat, so you can just grab that link. Okay, this is perfect for families and teens who believe teens deserve to dream big, deserve to believe they are smart and can achieve anything. Teens deserve to receive expert college guidance throughout high school. For the college-bound teen, this is perfect for the college-bound teen who is just starting high school and wants a clear roadmap. Maybe you have all the AQs, but you need help figuring out your leadership piece. Maybe you need help finding additional colleges or merit aid or scholarships. Or you're a teen that's ready to find your strengths and leverage them, learn how to leverage them in the application. So if you've answered yes to many of these here, this Dream College is definitely for you, okay? Now, I want to just show you quickly what happens next. So you're going to see this, and you're going to click which payment you want. Okay, I like to give you every single step because you're like, wait, what? That's how I am. Then you see the order form and the confirmation page and the email, and then your login details. Okay, so very quickly again, you're going to go to the link, you're going to click your payment, you're going to scroll all the way to the bottom to click your payment. You see your order form, your confirmation page. And then you're going to see an email from me and a separate email with your login course details. You'll watch the video, download your calendar schedule, and join the Facebook group. Now, parents, whether or not you sign your teen up today or later, you can join the parent Facebook group at any time. Destination University. Many of you have already done so, and I've been happy to see you there. Okay, so let's just pause for a second. If you are class of 2021, you said, Dr. C, did you mention essay camp? And yes, you're right, I sure did. And so I don't want to leave that out. If you are the class of 2021 and you're ready to be a VIP member, this is maybe what you're looking for. It's the College Essay Bootcamp and includes the Dream College Academy. Okay, so you get both at this price here. The 4-day camp is $10.79 and the 5-day camp is $14.79. When you go to the site, you can see the difference, all the things that are included, but we're going to give you automatically the Dream College Academy. So you'll be able to take advantage of going through the course and all the modules that make sense for you and put it in turbo. So if you're looking for a speedway, the fast track for the summer for seniors, this might be more what you need. You may not need this. You may just need Dream College Academy, which is completely fine as well, but I didn't want to let this go. So Ronnie, I think you're putting this link into the chat room because I'm going to continue moving on. I want to get to your questions and see you face to face again. Okay, here's a student who took the essay bootcamp. She took the 4-day camp last summer. Got 6 essays done in just 16 hours and 4 days with no homework at all. The homework is our homework, not their homework. This is a parent of a student who took the 4-day camp last year, had a son, and she was over the moon at how much he accomplished in just 16 hours. Okay, so it brings us to our Q&A, and this is my favorite part. So I'm gonna go ahead and come back to you here. And let's see. So my team is there for you answering your questions in the chat, but I'm gonna ask Miss Vanna to unmute herself in just a second. Can you all see my screen? Okay. And Vanna, when you're ready, go ahead and let's hear what the first question is.
Okay, very good. We've got a big crowd today. All right, this question, what do you think the impact will be for students whose schools are doing pass-fail or not including GPA and cumulative weighted GPA this semester? They have higher GPA junior year due to APs, which will not be included.
That's a great question. And so I feel like, so everything that anything that's quantitative data, your numbers are going to matter the most. So class of 2021, fortunately or unfortunately, you're going to have the scrutiny come from mostly from your sophomore, all of your sophomore year and the first part of junior year. If you took AP exams, those numbers may count. And even more reason, 2 things. Even more reason why we continue, everybody I know that's in the industry continues to recommend taking the testing, the SAT or ACT. If you can take it, the luxury you have is that after you see your test scores, you can choose whether or not you want to send them, okay? But that's another quantitative data point. So especially if you just have pass-fail grades for the semester, having that extra data point is going to be helpful. The second piece of advice I have is that what we have been saying for a long time now is the PQs, pay attention to the PQs, not just the AQs. Why? Because when admission folks are looking more holistically at your application, what pops out? You have to make sure that your PQs stand out. So if you don't have a clear focus on what that looks like and how to do that, Dream College Academy is definitely going to get you in the right direction. And if you're class of 2021, the essay camps will definitely steer you in the right direction.
Okay, I believe this question is directed toward the essay camp. Is this program personalized one-on-one, or is it a group program?
Oh, that's a great question. So the Dream College Academy is a group program, and the modules come out once a week, and we have a group session every Thursday. The essay camp, and Vanna is one of the co-pilots of that. The essay camp is a group class, but each student is assigned a personal essay coach with 6 to 8 students maximum. And our homework is to give personalized feedback every night. So you don't have homework at night. You come to the class for the 4 hours or the 6 hours, you get the work done, and we do all the homework in the evening. So that's how that works. So it is highly personalized.
Okay. Would this program be helpful for students applying to U.S. service academies?
To U.S. service academies? Is that what I heard you say?
West Point, Annapolis, yes.
Sure. So are you talking about the DCA or the essay camp?
It just says, would this program be helpful? So I'm not sure.
Sure. Yes. So the program is going to be helpful. So the students I've worked with that have applied to the Air Force Academy or the Naval Academy, those are very specific schools that have what we call, I mean, for every school you're applying to, you really need to know and understand what we call the vision, the mission, and the values of each college to help put that match together. Okay. And so for wherever you're applying, it doesn't matter. This course is going to be helpful because again, it helps you focus on what are your strengths and how do your strengths match the colleges that you're applying to. You want to put them together. College admissions is kind of like dating. So you've got to have both pieces. You have to understand the college pieces and you have to understand your pieces. So yeah.
Great. Okay. What is the best way for a student to connect with a college's admissions counselors? What questions should a junior ask?
There are pieces. So in module, I want to say in module 2, where you're the person that's being the admission officer doing the red, yellow, and green card, you're going to get to learn sort of all of those pieces. And we give you helpful hints and tips on how to connect with the exact person at the office that's reading your application. That's number 1. And number 2, generally speaking, you want to ask questions that are specific to you, because the more questions you ask, like if you have a specific major or things like that, I always say it's good to reach out to someone and ask them, is there someone in the office or a student worker in the office who is majoring in X major that you want to major in that I can connect with? Or is there a professor that would be willing to talk to me about blah, blah, blah? So better to be more specific in your questions than general, because that shows that you're really interested.
Exactly. Demonstrated interest is so important. Okay. If a student has experienced health issues that caused a small decrease in GPA for a period of time, how should they include that in the application? The student did then make a comeback.
Can you repeat the question? I missed the first part.
Health issues that caused a small decrease in her GPA for a period of time. And how should she include that in the application, even though she did make a comeback after that illness?
Oh, okay. So I think I caught most of what you're saying. So certainly I've worked with students who had a little bit of departing from their normal academic achievement. And so the key for any tragedy so I always say one of the common topics is some big challenge. The 3 Ds, death, divorce, devastation. Oh, there's 4, or actually getting a D meaning maybe a C. So if you have one of those, the key there is, what was the comeback? What's the comeback story? What did you learn? How did you come out of that? And if there's a teacher who saw your growth through that might be a good teacher. So there are lots of ways to think about this. But again, the first piece for any of this, again, focus and clarity. If I cannot say that enough, the Dream College Academy, what helps students do more than anything is really take a full inventory of you. And most adults, most humans don't take the time to do the reflection necessary for this process. In this process, the students who win the day are ones who've really done the work and then can really evolve. Because that essay that you're trying to write will take several drafts.
Cynthia, people are having difficulty hearing me, so please repeat the question.
Oh, okay, great.
The question now is, how should a student decide whether or not to submit test scores?
How should a student decide whether or not to submit test scores? This is a great question. So I'm going to give you the advice I've been giving to my private clients and those I work with in the school. So because you have the option this year, you should definitely take it. So my suggestion is if you scored a 1200 out of the gate with your PSAT, right? So most all of you should have a PSAT score. So the students that I see scored 1200 or above with no prep, no nothing, I say to them, it is worth pursuing getting some test prep and shooting for a 1400 or above, okay? So that's, again, we're talking about dream colleges here, so just keep that in perspective. So that's number one, because the 1200 or above in your PSAT shows me that you can do it. Number two is once you've taken your test and you get your score, you can sort of match that up with where you are applying. And we teach you in the college list module and Dream College Academy, we teach you how to find all of the data you need for the college list you have, and you'll match them up, and it'll be very clear to you once you see the data in black and white, which colleges you should submit and which ones you should not. Again, remember, you have the choice. That's the luxury of class of 21. There's so many gifts that you've been given for this process that you'll want to know how to leverage them, and Dream College Academy is going to help you figure those pieces out. It's a little bit, I hate to say it this way, but it's a little bit of strategy for sure. So I hope that answers your question.
Many, I have about four at the same question. They're interested in the essay boot camp only.
Oh, sure. Well, just because you get something added to your inbox doesn't mean you have to do it. So the essay boot camp is available, and highly recommend it. We've been doing it for years now. And so for a class of 2021, my guess is even though you may not use Dream College Academy, it will be there. There'll likely be at least one module that will be helpful to you. And I dare say your parent will want you to at least do the module that talks about scholarships.
Okay, this one's about counselor letters of recommendation. How do we get letters of recommendation from our counselors in an overcrowded school who don't know us at all? I don't even know who my counselor is.
Module 6 is Build Your Dream Team. And as I mentioned earlier, and I mentioned it for a very specific reason, this is, whoever asked this question, bravo to you, because we teach you the exact formula of what to do. What we've done is taken, so Vanna and I have worked at private, and Vanna has worked at one of the most elite private schools in the country. So we've basically taken what students get at private elite high schools that for where parents pay $30,000 to upwards of $40,000 per year to go to school. And we've turned it into these templates for you to show you how you're going to get exactly what you need. So there's a specific way to do it that is authentic to you, that really has you shine in the letter. And we show you how to craft that so that it's helpful to that teacher and counselor.
Okay. What if the school did not do pass fail, but kept grading rigor in spring of this year? So the opposite.
So I may be telling you something you don't want to hear, but I would say you're in a good position. First of all, the fact that your school, so that's true for one of the schools I work with that I'm a consultant for. And I have said to the girls over and over again, you are in good shape. The fact that you have the luxury of having quality education delivered to you and you have those grades, that's going to be a good thing. So just know it's a good thing. The more quantitative data points that this coming class that you can show for this coming admissions process, class of 2021, the better, because the world has been turned upside down. There's so much unknown that college admission folks are going to need something to grasp on to really find a way to determine their class, how they determine their class. So any quantitative data point is going to be a good thing for you. If you don't have it, don't worry that you don't have it. Just know that whatever you can do to add to it is going to be helpful. And again, to go back, I cannot emphasize enough, the PQs, which I've been championing for over 20 years, the PQs will finally have their day. It's going to count a lot.
Okay, Dr. C, do you work with a variety of students? These examples all seem to be top 10% students.
So as you might, so yes, you're correct that those 5 that I showed you, specific examples, are those dream college applicants for sure. Now note that not all, that each one of them also were denied several places. But if you noticed where I showed you the students where they've been admitted, all of the students, not just these students, but the range of students that we work with in our essay camps and all of our workshops are a wide range of students. So as I mentioned, the kid who is over the moon for getting into Penn State, that was his dream college. So Dream College Academy has multiple meanings, just depends on you. So yes, we do work with a range of students.
Okay, do you have experience with kids who are interested in the arts?
I do have kids that are that come to us interested in the arts. I can think of one, oh gosh, one that I'm thinking of off the top, a couple. One that I worked with, she was in a top show choir. And if I say too much, you'll figure out what the school is. Well, I can tell you actually, because I'm not going to tell you who she is. The show Glee, which you may or may not be familiar with, was based on the show choir at this at John Burroughs High School. And so one of the students I worked with this year was part of that show choir. So it was super fun to sort of work with her. Now, she didn't want to major in anything in artistically performing arts, but it was definitely part of her story. Another student that was in one of our essay camps on campus, the one I just mentioned, she did a hybrid course, a course like DCA, like Dream College Academy, a digital course. The other one was an actor, and he wrote his essay on his goal of getting to, is it right, 1,000 auditions? It just took him years. 1,000 seems a lot, but it might be 100. But anyway, I recently reread his essay. He was the one who admitted to University of Virginia and USC and some other places. So yes, definitely we work with students with all interests.
Okay, can we join DCA on another night other than tonight?
Absolutely, absolutely. So tonight is, first of all, this group, we've done 4 webinars, and this is the last one. So the first thing you should know is that you are the lucky ones because you guys are getting the introductory price at $459. My guess is this price won't be the price when we launch it again next year. So that's the first thing you should know. The second thing you should know is that tonight and tonight only, if you sign up today while we're still on the call, you will also get the Parent Academy. So parents love to have things to do, and teens, you want your parents to be busy, not meddling in with what you are writing, but doing their thing. So you get Parent Academy. But this will not be the only time, but the doors will close. I want to say doors close on Monday the 8th. Your replay email tomorrow, you'll get the replay email, so you can, the replay will be limited time, but it will start to tell you the details because we'll close the doors and will not open the doors to DCA for many months.
Okay, another one. My son is just finishing 10th grade. He'll be in 11th grade next school year. Is it better to wait until next summer, or should he do your programs this year?
Okay, so rising juniors, DCA is probably, I would say, made for you. So most teenagers, most high schools don't even start really getting into gear with their college counseling until spring of the junior year, if at all, or even fall of the senior year. So I say the best students for DCA, if I had to choose, I mean, I think it's for everybody, but if I had to choose, it would be rising sophomores and rising juniors. Remember, the longer you have with your plan, so we do the Ultimate Dreamers plan is basically a backwards map. What is the ultimate goal? So I'm just going to tell you 3 quick short stories. When I was the director of college counseling at Marymount, and they were all highly motivated girls, all of them. But every year there was like one or two that would come to my office before freshman year or before sophomore year. So the three girls I completely remember in my head came, they did exactly what I'm teaching in Dream College Academy, the backwards map, and they did everything. We sat for 2 hours when they came in with their family. And what happens is when you put something on paper, you write down your goals, you are more likely to achieve them. There's a Harvard Business study on this. So if you think about your goals, you might achieve some of them, maybe. If you share your goals and with other people, you're more likely to achieve them. But if you have goals and make a plan for those goals, you're 10 times more likely to achieve those goals. And that's the plan. So these three girls who came and started really early, one of them ultimately went to Yale, one of them went to Brown, and one of them did not get to her equivalent of HYP, but she went to NYU. So shoot for the, is it the star that's higher? Shoot for the star and land on the moon? Yes, the answer is resounding yes, yes, and yes. Sign up.
Okay, this is a good segue question. In all of your years of doing this with students, have any of them been accepted to Harvard, Columbia, or Penn?
Yes, yes, and yes. Absolutely. And I will also say, so I think I don't know that I have personally had someone admitted to Dartmouth, I want to say, but pretty much all of the Ivies, yes, yes, and yes. And this year, when I was reviewing my notes just before this last session, I was reviewing some notes. We did have a student this year who was waitlisted at Harvard. And I actually also had a student who was waitlisted at Harvard last year. Now, no one remembers silver medalist, so I don't talk about it. But in both of those cases, I will just say this, because I know they were so close, for both of them, I continue to just, when I think about them and who they are and how they came to life on paper, I wish I had Dream College Academy before for them to take part, and I would have, we could make a plan earlier. So be that as it may, that's the answer to your question.
Okay. Test optional schools, will a college assume that a score is poor if I don't send my scores and it's a test optional school?
The question is, if it's a test optional school, will they assume that I had a low score if I don't send it? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so the answer to that is no. They won't assume that. And remember, again, there's the quantitative pieces, which are your AQs. So I want you to imagine a couple of things. One, homeschooling is not what it used, is far better than it was years ago. So I'm going to just share one little thing. Back when I was at Vassar and we would get a homeschool student, we often said, for better for worse, how can we rely on these grades? This student's being graded by the mother, right? So yes, of course they're straight A's. So we relied more heavily on the test scores, okay? So the reverse would be true here, right? So with sans the test scores, what am I going to rely on more? The grades and the rigor. I'm going to look at how many honors and AP courses. I need to know and believe that you can do the work and succeed at this school. So how you write your essays, the quality of writing is going to say a lot about you as well. Okay, what your teachers have to say to verify the academic qualities that you have. So the answer is no, they're not going to make that assumption, but you just have to make sure that the rest of the pieces do stand out.
Okay, what about AP scores? What should I send? Can I send 3s?
Vanna, you might have to help me with this question. So the question is, what about AP scores? And that's a specific question. I don't know. I think that they all come as a set, right? Like if you send your APs, they all go on one transcript.
with my experience, I've noticed that you own AP scores in a way that you don't own SATs and subject tests. And what I mean by that, you spend, they're like $100-something each. And so you can actually pick and choose.
Wow.
You can send all of them to this college and a couple of them to that college. It's really interesting because you own them in a different way.
Okay, well, there you have it. There's your answer. Now they're going to see that you took the APs on your transcript. So if you don't send them all, they might have a question as to why you didn't send them.
Right.
But yeah.
I'm also hearing that because of the fact that a lot of the students will not be able to take the SAT or ACT during the COVID pandemic, that the colleges and the admissions panels are going to be looking more closely at the AP scores to kind of create the whole picture at that point. So if you have any score 3, 4, 5 that you would like to send, I would recommend sending it this year.
Right. Good.
Great. Thanks, Eva.
Okay. I think that's about it. A lot of people seem interested in the essay boot camp for their rising senior.
Okay.
So that's something. I did have a question about the $5.5 million.
Yes.
Was that from colleges or private organizations?
So this is the first year that we've actually been keeping track of the scholarship dollars. And so there are 3 types of aid, parents, if you're still with me and listening. There's need-based aid, which is financial aid from the college. There is merit-based aid from the college. And then there is outside scholarships. So the $5.5 million is an accumulation of merit aid awarded by the colleges. So you will often see, so the biggest piece here is that our students, because they use the summer to get these things done, they are ready to apply to colleges as early as September. And sort of the early bird gets the worm when it comes to, are you a standout? Do we have money? And giving a merit aid. So that's merit aid. And you'll see they're academic scholarships. They're called honors or regents or presidential scholarships, those kinds of things. And that's where that dollar figure comes from, merit aid.
Great. Okay, I got a couple new questions. Are the essay camps in person? We are in Texas.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I love this question because you guys, Vanna and I, we've been doing Zoom camps before Zoom was cool. So even last year, we had 10 states represented over the course of time. So yes, 2 things. One, the June camps and the July camps are, because of our situation here, especially in California, we're going to be remote. We're going to be live via Zoom anyway. The 2 camps in August, one is at Chapman University, for those of you who want to take a trip over here and go to Disneyland, which again, I don't know if you want to do that, but we're not sure if the August camps will be live. But either way, all of the camps are going to have a virtual live stream option. So let me be clear, the only way that camp works and you get your stuff done is that you are actually tied to that time. So unlike Dream College Academy, you can do the work on your own when the module comes out. Essay camp is at a set time. It's usually from 9 to 1 for the 16-hour camp, 9 to 1 for 4 days. You have to be with us in that time, okay? Right, Vanna? Because that's the only way you're going to get it done.
Okay, so you've answered this question at least 1,000 times, but it's always a good one. Is it better to take an honors class and get a B, or take a normal class and get an A?
Okay, to repeat the question, is it better to take an honors class and get a B, or a regular class and get an A? The answer to that question is that's the wrong question. It is better to take the honors class and get the A. So if you know anything, it's self-fulfilling prophecy. Don't say already that you're going to get a B, but really strive for the A. But in all seriousness, the answer to that question is it's always better to take the more rigorous curriculum, period.
Right. Okay. I think that's about it in terms of questions, specific questions. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm going to stop share and we're going to just sit with you guys for a second. I'm so excited to, okay, now I can see the chat, so I can see that. Okay, awesome. Okay, so what I want to leave you all with, I want to say thank you. And thank you to my team, everybody who's here. Eva's been answering questions and Vanna's been answering questions. Ronnie has been behind the scenes with the tech piece. And we've got Italia, I think, on here as well. So thank you to the team. They've been great. And so my question to all of you as we roll away right now is type in the chat one thing that you're going to do in the next 24 hours that gets you closer to your dream, whatever that is. So I'm going to play a little music here and go ahead and type in the chat. What are you going to do? What are you committing to do in the next 24 hours? All right, let's play a little music and let's see. I want to see it. Tell me what's happening. Make a plan and write it down. Excellent. Talk to my teen. Awesome. Photos for nonprofit. Oh, that's good. Make a spreadsheet. Nice. Make a plan. Write down. Share it with someone. Hold me accountable. Excellent. Yes, good. Talk to my daughter and determine where they need the most. Yep. Okay, continue. Discuss the program with my daughter. You'll want to watch the replay with your teens if your teen wasn't here. Need to narrow down the list. Yes. Okay, awesome. Good. Layla, we'd love to help you with that college list. It's very key to your success. Yes, discuss with my son. Excellent. Make a list of dream colleges. We'd love to help you with that, Christian. Discuss the essay bootcamp. Oh, Tina, I promise you, that is one best gift that you can give your daughter, I promise. Yep. Okay, awesome. Make a plan, set dates. Love it. Okay, awesome. Good. You guys are on it. The point of any of these classes, the Dream College Academy or the Essay Camp especially, is to save you time on the other end. I cannot tell you that David student that I showed you, we spent 30 plus hours when he could have just done the Essay Camp and finished in 16 hours. Okay, guys, if you're still on the fence, I would go ahead and sign up. You get the bonus today with the Bonus Parent Academy if you make that leap. Make that investment in your kid, in their future, and in their dreams. Layla, you may want to watch the replay with your parents. Love it. Oh, you guys are doing so well. Love it.